Alright, this is separate. This is the steering column. And everything right here is just leaking, dirty, chipped and nasty looking. I just wanted to get a good view and picture of how the mechanism and everything looks and how it is. I'm going to redo all this, and this is the steering wheel. It's got a lot of cracks and stuff in it to let you see, and we're going to refurbish that hole and put it back in. I'll show it to you when we put it back together. Alright, step one in the restoration process of the 31 steering column. We've learned that this piece is cracked and broken a couple places, which will be repaired. We're going to find a new button. We have a broken switch here that's mounted into the case. That is our switch that we're going to have a large problem trying to locate, because it's the entire rod. It's all made as one piece. It's either aluminum or a pot metal aluminum. It looks like it's just aluminum. I hadn't cleaned it up. Now we're going to finish and pop out the nut, take the wheel off, take the casing rod apart, and clean the housing and get it completely redone and put it all back together. Show you step by step as we get her done. Record up here?
Yep.
Okay. Alright, taking the 31 column apart. We got these pieces here. I'm gonna pull that out. And then we got a lever here. It goes in first between the spring. So what we have is spring, lever, another lever. Then we have a plate. Ring plate, and right there it sits into a spot, so it's between those two. And that is it for taking that section apart. This is mounted. We should be able to clean her all up, and I'm gonna give this to you. You have fun. Go put it in a solvent tank and clean all the goo off the bottom of it, and then we might take this off to seal up that hole. And I guess we're going to glass bead the bottom. This goes cast, this goes black. Alright, here we have the steering wheel for the 1931 Chrysler. She's got some wear and she has some cracks in her, and what you can see is we have taken and dug the cracks out and cleaned all the areas up and got everything, so we'll be able to do a complete epoxy fill and fix these. Get the steering wheel looking back to normal in rather quick time, and it's just got normal old wear. Alright, I'm gonna take a 2-part epoxy binder mix, and what we use what we have here is a A and B hard epoxy putty. What you do is knead this together. It'll seam these, harden up. We'll be able to sand it down, correct these, prime it, paint it. Should be back to normal. Alright. Alright, here we are with the 31 Chrysler steering wheel. We've prepped the steering wheel, got the steering wheel all ready, took a Dremel tool, cleaned out some of the cracks that are through the steering wheel in different places. And what we have here is a Part A, Part B epoxy. And what we're going to do is take and open these up, and we're going to knead them together. Just work them back and forth and rub them out until they all blend together. Just like a stick of candy. You're going to take off and cut off about a 1-inch piece. Now, you can mix up however much you want to mix up at a time. It's easiest on your hands. mix up like a 1-inch slice on both of them. Take about a 1/2, 3/4 thickness piece. You're gonna take the two and you're gonna blend them and rub them together. Yeah, it's a few minute process here. So I'm gonna work at kneading these together and come back to you. Alright, I'm back after a couple minutes of sitting here rubbing this and kneading it together. You wanna get it folding in the beginning. It's real thick. Doesn't knead together very well. As it's been applied and you fold and you rub it into each other, it starts applying real well. And then you're just gonna, whoop. Well, try not to do that and throw it out of your hand. But it's like a big ball of silly putty at this stage. You're gonna just basically rip off a piece that you're gonna knead and knead it into a shape that you're gonna be pushing it down into these cracks. You're gonna really knead it and rub it into this. After we get it kneaded and worked in pretty good, you wet your hands and rub this down. It'll smooth out real nice. I got a bucket of water sitting here on the side. You're just gonna take and wet it a little bit and it'll melt. Start kneading its way in. And that's gonna model it and take it into the cracks. Give it some nice smoothness to it. And in the end, you're gonna end up sanding it. But you get it to smooth out pretty deep into these. Just take another piece. You're gonna have a little while that you can keep grabbing the piece up, needling it and rubbing it back together. It'll keep on molding itself in. You're gonna kind of rub it into every crack, part you can. Like I said, it looks a little rough in the beginning, but it becomes very hard property. I'm gonna continue on, do a couple spots like this, and bring you guys back and show you how it turns out. And then you let this stuff cure after I'm done for an hour or two, and then we can sand it in place, feather it out, add more to it if you need to, and be able to prime and really work it out. Alright, you can see that epoxy's been applied. In different areas on the steering wheel to fill in all the cracks. Now that's going to sit, and we'll come back to it later on. And I'll show you when we got it all sanded down and smoothed up. That's just going to sit and cure for a while. Alright, here we have the 31 Chrysler steering wheel. These areas have been repaired and sanded, and I'm getting ready to continue with a little bit more repair work on some edges and everything on this side. Continue to file out and remove cracks in this area, which we're getting ready to epoxy right now. We're going to epoxy the base around here and smooth it out. A little bit more touch up down through these spots here, but it's turning out real nice, and I'll continue to show you the 31 steering wheel as we finish her up. Alright, here's the 31 wheel again. I applied more epoxy to all these and filled all these seams in, fixed all these crack lines. Now, I did spin this on a machine to get this to be even and precise all the way through. I have to do a little bit more filler through here and through a couple little spots here and here. I'm going to go ahead and do these little spots here. There's a little spot right here and right here and right here and here. I'm going to sand that and do those and run around this thing and probably spin it again to final off this last little areas. But if you could feel it, it turned out real nice. It's real even. So give you an idea of what it looks like. Yeah, I know, looks pretty rough with all these spots, but the epoxy two-stage binder that this is being repaired with is very strong and works very good, and you'll be real happy when you see the end result with it. Alright, we got phase 2 of the steering wheel for the 31 Chrysler. It's all been epoxied, sanded down, spun on a lathe, and now it's in epoxy primer. We put primer on both sides, let it cure up on these spots, and I'll come back and sand it, and then we'll put the whole thing into an epoxy sealer and get it in paint. Turn out real nice. Quick, easy, nice repair. I'll show you step by step of all the ways to do it. You can pretty much do this at home. Alright, there's the steering wheel, all repainted. Get an idea what she looks like. Just like Tori said a minute ago, it's a brand new steering wheel. That's why it's restored. It's every little fingerprint has been pulled out on the inside finger lines and sanded down real nice. Turned out real good. There's a little horn button even redone. I got the little ring button for the throttle control to finish, but it's one of the little hang-ups I've had. Alright, here we have the 31 Chrysler steering column and mechanisms all put back together and placed in the car. I think I showed you the steering wheel when I got done. There's the column. Everything back in place. We're doing all the wiring and working on all the wiring and getting everything set up to finish up all the wiring and the gauges and everything up underneath. And so that's where we are with that. Column looks real nice.